Hello, YouTube, and welcome to my channel, Janelle Pictures. My name is Franklin Janelle, and this is what will be the first episode of many more to come. And because it is one of the first episodes, I find it reasonable to talk about how I began to get into making movies. Now, I'm not going to talk about my whole life story, the background. I'm sure we could do that as time goes by. But by the title of this video, which you have seen, it's called Getting Out of Your Comfort Zone. And that's basically what I want to talk about for you to get into making films or collaborating and meeting new people. So I've always knew that I wanted to do movies since 2010. I've knew that ever since I got a hold of a camera. I started shooting nature and editing. I developed a interest in moving images, and that interest just kept growing and growing as time went by. And I began to study cinematography and many other things, lighting, you name it, whatever. But I was always asking myself, how do I meet people? Like, how do I do movies? And there were many doubts that I had to face and struggle with. Am I good enough for this? Can I actually be able to make films? And long story short, just to get into the gist of the topic of getting out of your comfort zone, that's exactly what I did. Um, Previously, I was trying to involve some of my family members, cousins, even my own brother, to like do some scenes with me. I would tell them to like, sit there and, just talk. So that way I could kind of like practice directing and everything. And as time went by, I began to realize they weren't into this. And I began to get discouraged. And I'm like, okay, this isn't for me. I don't think making movies is what I want. But then I realized that I was doing it wrong. I realized I was using the wrong people. These people are not actors. My family, they're not into making movies. My family are into a whole other things. So I realized if I'm gonna get serious about making movies, I have to get out of my comfort zone. I have to go into the unknown. I have to go to that place where I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know who I'm going to meet. And so, long story short, of all places, I went to Facebook. And me having lived in Philly for the past 3 years, going on four now, I've always lived in New Jersey. So I was new to the whole Philly area. And I went on Facebook and I just posted Philadelphia filmmakers group, just to see if there's a community out there. And to my surprise, there was a lot of people local to Philly that are into this stuff. And I'm like, how come Facebook never referred anyone in the first place to me? So it's like, it's crazy. So basically, I got into these Facebook groups and I began to see like all these casting calls and everything, seeking non-union actors, non-paid, but you will get IMDb credits, a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, like, this is all new to me. So I'm like, oh, okay, this is how you basically do a casting call. And so, I'm in that group. I thought that just by joining, I don't know, I might get selected. I don't know, somebody might reach out. They didn't. But at least I was becoming to be identified with a lot of other people that are local to Philly who are into this stuff. And I remember seeing a person in there, and his face, I have a good memory, so I can see people, and I remember things. I have a long-term memory. I'm good with like recording people's faces in my head and events in general. So after I joined that Facebook group about 2 weeks ago, I received a friend request from what has become basically my right hand man in terms of association with films, and that's Zay Rodriguez. We've become pretty cool. He's introduced me to many people that he's worked with, et cetera, et cetera. And as soon as he sent me that friend request, I remember his face from that Facebook group. And as soon as I accepted, I messaged him on Messenger and I asked him, hey, how you doing? And then I just planted him the question, you do films, right? And he said, yeah. And basically from there on, I mean, we've just become really cool, in terms of the filmmaking community, and we have developed a good business relationship and so forth. And I don't want to continue, boring you or anything, but my point is, if you really want to make movies or get into filmmaking, you have to get out of your comfort zone. You have to go out into the unknown. I was scared a little bit because I didn't know who I was going to meet. Okay. I didn't know, who I was going to get involved with. But I knew if I didn't take that, that chance, I was never going to do anything. Everything I wanted to do was never going to be accomplished. And so having met Zay and him introducing me to other people, he he did a short film. He produced a short film called Why Do You Love Me? And previously I had done a little experiment. I guess you can call it a short film. It's called Stray Cats. I basically documented two stray cats who live in front of my house or come by my house. They're from the neighborhood. And I would document them and I would want to tell a story about them. And when he saw that short film, if that's what you want to call it, he was drawn into the way I film and tell a story. And he wanted to, he wanted me to direct this short film he was producing, which is called Why Do You Love Me? Which I'll put the link below where you can go and rent it for $1. You can support him. Um, and that was the first experience I've ever had doing a short film and directing actors in general. I mean, with Why Do You Love Me, I really had to put to the test everything I have been studying about film, about directing, cinematography, lighting, sound, etc., etc. And that short film was basically a test to see if I'm actually built for this. And thank God, Why Do You Love Me actually got good reviews from people. The people who saw it, they actually liked it. And recently, it won an award in the Alternative Film Festival in Toronto, Canada, best drama in short category, which I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. You know what I mean? I typically I don't do films for awards or anything, but it's nice to see that, being that my first film ever, directing people. And, after that, I was able to direct my first official film that I wrote, directed, and produced, which is called Julie's Confession, which I will speak about in another video. But my point is, you have to get out of your comfort zone. Staying home, waiting for an opportunity to come, you're not going to get anywhere like that. You have to play offensive. You have to go out there. You have to be the one in the battlefield. You have to be the one in the line of fire, because otherwise you're in today's world, you're not gonna get known. And so that's what I wanted to speak about, as my first episode or my first video in this channel, whatever you want to call it. And I will continue making more videos about everything that's involved filmmaking, what I love about it, my favorite movies. I have a long-term goal for this channel, and I just want to collaborate with as many people as I want. So if you haven't subscribed, please do so. It will help the channel out. And I will leave my email below. You can send me any questions you want, and I will answer them live. So thank you very much for your time, and I will see you in the next one.